Ready to thrive in 2005. You want to say that with me?
Yeah.
Ready to thrive in 2005. Do you feel like that? And some people are going, no, no, no. It's shut the door in 24. That's where they're going, because a lot of people are like, man, that year stunk. And I'm like, well, good. It had a lot of gifts to bring to us, didn't it? A lot of things, maybe not so great, but now the deal is, it's resolution time. And some people go, oh, resolutions, I set them all the time. And other people go, I hate resolutions. I never do them. They're a big waste of time. But whatever it is, today's focused on setting intention. It's about setting intentions and getting ready. But before we jump into the bright, that's why I'm wearing sparkles today. I'm wearing sparkly stuff like, hey, the future is so, and I asked in our study group this morning, nobody even, do you know the song, My Future's So Bright?
I gotta wear shades.
I gotta wear shades, absolutely. Yep. Thank you, Patty. Yeah, my future's so bright, I gotta wear shades. That could be your affirmation for the year, for heaven's sakes. But before we jump off into that, I wanted to share a couple things about New Year's resolutions. A friend of mine said to me, you know, I've decided I'm procrastinating. I'm done with it, I'm gonna give it up. But I think I'm gonna start tomorrow. Another friend of mine said, you know what? My New Year's resolution for last year was to lose 10 pounds. I only have 15 more to go. I'm like, yes, we kind of get that one. And then me, I said, you know what? I know exactly, I've written it down. I've written down all of my New Year's. I know exactly what they are, and I've kept them all. You know how I've kept them? I kept them in a journal that's on my bookshelf. That's how I've kept them. But you know, it's important sometimes to reflect. A friend of mine sent me a prose piece, and the piece said, why the heck is it every New Year we're focused on improving? We'd be going, yes, congratulations, we made it through another year. We're healthy, wealthy, we're wise, whatever it is, we made it through. And I said, yeah, that's true. And maybe the only thing worth its medal is to say, you know, were we kinder? Were we more loving? Were we more aware? Were we more giving? Were we more receiving? Or whatever that fulfilled our life and our path. Maybe that's the best thing. Think about this for a second. We just got done celebrating Thanksgiving and Christmas and Hanukkah and whatever else is going on, right? And when you do that, what happens? You prepare, don't you? If you were having people over to your house for dinner, you had to know how many you were preparing food for. You had to set the table. You were buying gifts for people. You were preparing. And why did you prepare? Because you wanted it smoothly, right? You didn't want to go, oh, you know, and even if you had surprise guests, you had enough food or you had an extra gift or whatever it is. But the thing is that we prepared. Now think about it. In the morning, you got prepared to come to church. You get prepared for whatever it is you do. And why do you do it? Because you want things to go perfectly and the way you're planning them. So you've set an intention. So see, the truth of it is we set intentions every day, don't we? We don't maybe intentions or say, I'm deliberately setting intention. But guess what? You're prepared for it every day. So you've set the intention. So this is no different. This is about what intentions do you want to set for the new year? And you don't have to call it setting intention, you don't have resolutions, you don't have to call it anything, but like, how are you preparing for this new year? Because remember, what we think about prepares. Now, so I ask you, did you wake up this morning and say, I'm ready for my wildest dreams to come true? No. I don't think so. I didn't get that energy vibe in here. So how about we go, I'm ready for my wildest dreams to come true.
I'm ready for my wildest dreams to come true.
Okay, could we say it as though it's not a death march? How about, I'm ready for my wildest dreams to come true. I say that to my cat all the time, and he looks at me and goes, does that mean extra treat for me? I'm like, yes, it does, my friend. So the thing is, a friend of mine, her thing is best day ever. And then I reminded her, I said, you know, the theme of the Rose Parade this year was best day ever. And I said, they must have been listening to your talks. Because she says it at every talk. She goes, this is the best day ever. And everybody goes, but yesterday was the best day ever. I know, and now today is. So that's how you change it. But the thing is we have to be prepared for this delicious, yummy, opulent life that we want. We have to be ready for it, and we have to prepare for it if it's going to show up, right? If you're having guests come to your house, you don't just go, oh, gee, what a surprise. Let's see what I got in the refrigerator. You're prepared for them. So I heard a commercial. You might have heard this commercial. Did you know that the second Friday of January is called Quitter's Day? I'm like, they go look it up. I'm like, I will look it up. It is. And it's called Quaker's Day because by the second Friday of January, most people have already given up on their resolutions. So the Google article also said, well, if you're afraid of someone that's giving up a resolution, not you, of course, if there's anybody else you know that's given up, you're to encourage them and say, you can do it, da, 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 da. But I thought, oh my God, they've got a Quitter's Day? You've got to be kidding me. So the thing is, I'm going to tell you a secret, and it's the only secret that you need to know. It's the only one you need to know. In order to create great experiences in your life, you have to produce, and it requires, deliberate and intentional. Creating the life that you desire requires deliberate and intentional thought. And from there, you prepare. But that deliberate and intentional thought acts as an instruction to the universe to bring to you what it is you desire. The universe says, I will do whatever it is you desire. But I have to know what it is, and you have to know what it is. You may not know exactly what it is, but when you say, I am ready for the most life, the most wealthy, healthy, wise, just like our affirmation said, when we declare that, it sets the tone. It gives an instruction to the universe saying, that's what I'm desiring. The universe goes, there's a serious player. So let's explore a couple ways that we can do that. So the fundamental oneness says, all of us are created from the same spirit. And everything, animate, inanimate, living, non-living, everything is created of that one body of spirit. Do you believe that? But that's what this whole teaching is founded on. That God and I are one. And when I know that oneness, when I know that the very essence in me is the thing, help me create, because we're co-creators with God, will help me create the life that I desire. So you think about it. There is no limit to anything that you desire. And people go, well, hold on a minute. I'm talking about this forever and ever and ever. Well, guess what? There's no limit other than what? Our thinking, our feeling, the way we're believing, we think about. When Jesus said, it's done unto you as you believe, it was as you believe, not what you believe, as you believe. We may pay lip service to a lot of things that we say we believe, but guess what? It doesn't come into fruition. And why is that? Because somewhere in we are combating the very thing that we desire. They call it, in a bigger term, it's called race consciousness, which is the collective consciousness. We're subjected to the race consciousness every day when we or Dateline, or any of those things that give us stories, right? So another thing about the divine oneness is knowing that we're all connected to each other. We are born of the one, and we are all connected. Don't realize that we're all connected to each other. You can't do anything icky to the next person. Why is that? Because then you're doing it to yourself. If we're all one, it's contagious. It is everything that we put out there is what gets back to us. They always have that thing they say, when you point a finger, 3 more are pointing back at you, right? So the deal is to understand that we're all connected, and we're all born of that one spirit. Now, when things aren't going our way, what is it that we have to overcome? When things aren't going our way, what is it that we have to overcome? It's not the effect that we have to overcome. See, many times we respond to the thing that's happening, and instead we need to go that's happening here, because we respond more to effects, and our conditions out there do not determine our life. What determines our life is our thought, is our feeling, is our intention, right? That's what determines our life. So if we don't like what's going on in our life, we don't go, oh, you know what, I'm going to change that out there. No, I'm going to change this in here. Because the moment you change what's in here, our thinking makes it so. Well, here we'll create a new experience. So we do it backwards sometimes, though. We've learned kind of backwards, like, oh, I got to correct this, and then it will make everything all right. So it's like, for instance, if you're worried about something like, oh, you know, I always wind up in relationships, or you know what, I've never been able to save money, or you know what, I've never been able to be on time, or whatever it is. Guess what happens? As you're recalling that, your body is going through that feeling experience, and you're living it all over again. Now what happens from there? You've just given a new instruction to the universe that says, I'm not on time, I have lots of relationships, I always have a sense of lack, right? And you don't even, you're doing it unconsciously because you're just revisiting, oh yeah, this is the way my pattern has always been. Our key is to find that divine pattern within us and say, you know what, there's a power in me that knows way better than I do how to bring about my good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put myself in alignment with that deep understanding and knowing of this. How do you do that? Through meditation, through reading, through just doing good acts. Anything that gets you in the energy field of creating the thing that you desire. We sometimes unconsciously brought to the universe the things that we don't want. Because guess what? Most of us are really good at knowing what we don't want. But a lot of us don't know what we do want. We probably know better what we want for breakfast better than what we want for our life. We spend time planning a meal than we do planning our life. And then what happens? It goes south. Or it goes this way and we go, oh, I don't like what happened. Well, guess what? The only thing you need to do is correct your thinking. Just correct your thinking. Go back into a feeling tone about this. Think about this. Every time we think about an adverse thought, it goes deeper into our subconscious. And our subconscious acts out things. And that's why things happen. When I mentioned this a week ago, a gal came to me and she said, you know what, I had every intention to come to church, but my car broke down, so I watched you talk on my phone. Are you telling me I broke my car down? I'm like, no, I didn't say you broke your car down. But what happens? We put ourselves in a spot where things don't happen. So it's like, don't make yourself a bad dog for your car breaking down or your relationship, whatever it is. Go back and do, what's my thought? Am I myself? What would it have meant if I showed up here in person? How does it feel? What would I want to do? Whatever it is, go back to the source. Think about it, that it's important to stop believing it isn't good. That sounds so elementary, doesn't it? It's important to stop believing in what isn't good. What isn't good for you, what isn't good for the world, what isn't good for the church, whatever it is. Stop thinking about what isn't good, because what's happening is you're putting an instruction out to the universe. And then we go, why didn't it work out? Well, guess what? That was your thought. It will continue to manifest because that's the thing we keep generating, even though we don't know it. We're not verbalizing it. It's a tape that's running, going on. Unrest in life has its good reasons, though, doesn't it? Unrest can wake us up to, hey, I'm not shining my light. There's an area that needs to work. I love this quote. Not every storm came to disrupt. Some storms came to clear. Think about that. Sometimes the challenges that you're faced with in your life, they didn't come to make your life in unrest. It came to wake you up to choose another path. Isn't that interesting? The issues that we've been hanging on to, though, those are the ones that run our life. And it's time to stop those. If things aren't happening, if you've got what's going on, guess what? It's time to go back and go, what am I thinking about? Where am I dwelling? Henry Ford said this, you can't build a vision on what you're going to do. So think about that in terms of your intentions. You can't build a reputation on what you're going to do. It's what am I putting into action? The challenges that we face, remember, have only come to show us, they've only come to show us of the good that's inside and to wake up to it. Ernest Holmes said, somewhere in here, that we always respond more to the effect than we do to the cause. And that again, we've got it backwards. Go back to what you're thinking. Figure out what's blocking your good. Have you asked yourself that lately? What's blocking my good? We're going to work on that in the workshop in 2 weeks. It's like, what's blocking my good? What are some things to release? What are some things that have been holding me back? Things that I'm unconscious about. You just kind of go a stream of consciousness and you write them down and you go, oh, that's interesting. It's like you may have a pattern of your mom, or you may have a pattern of whatever, cold winters, whatever it is. What's blocking your good? What's the armor I've put up in my mind? What are the things that I've let stop my true dream from coming through? And in the morning, are you affirming every day, my coming to me, I receive it now, and I'm exuding it out into the world, and the best ever is really, really happening for me. The easiest way to release a negative motion and not absorb it is to bless it. think about that. Think about that person that drives you crazy. You have to bless them. I always say I bless the sanctuary known as the 110 freeway. And then the traffic opens up. Because a lot of times driving to Redondo Beach is very, and sometimes it takes me 2 hours to go 40 some miles. And I'm like, jeepers, this gotta stop. Well, what I do is I bless it. I look for little people have little things on the back of their cars, like have a wonderful day. I'm like, oh yay, that was meant to. And so I start to get into the affirmations. Otherwise, if I'm sitting in the traffic going mad as a hornet about it, guess what? The traffic still stays jammed up. So our attitude about things really shifts things as well. So first of all, we anchor our thoughts on the power, that power that's in us, and say, you know what? I, my own mind, do nothing, but I put myself in that thought pattern, that perfect divine pattern of God, and let that pattern determine. Again, it's done unto you as believe. I have a story. There was a man who loved flowers. He loved flowers, but he was really lousy at growing them. All the neighbors used to feel so sorry. The guy has the right intentions, but you know what? He does not have a green thumb. Every day he'd go down to the market, he'd buy new seeds or buy new plants and take them home. And he followed all the instructions and tried to do everything, but nothing was working out. So one day he hears about a new vendor that's at the market, and he goes down there, and the vendor says, I'm going to tell you something. I've got a magic flower. I've got a magic plant that I'm telling you will, and what it does is it will make all your dreams come true. He's looking at me, he's like, oh, come on, there's no plant in the world that can make your dream come true. And he goes, but, you know, he gave in and thought, why not? I've tried every other plant, and nothing else is working out. So he takes it home with him, and he goes, but you got to tend to this plant. And he's like, oh, okay, brings it home, and he tends to it. And then he realizes, you know, if I'm tending to that plant, I better tend to all the plants. So all of a sudden he begins really in the plant, going, you know, this soil's too acidic for this plant. Let's fix that up. Oh, this guy needs a little more food. Then he begins talking to them, and then he begins singing to them. Any of you sing and talk to your plants? We have a lot of plant people out here. Carolyn, I'll bet you're singing to those yours. I sing to my orange tree, and it had 8 little oranges, first time ever, with those little cute, it's adorable. So, and some of my friends got those as presents. They gave me an orange. I'm like, you have no idea. I was so excited. So, but it's true. So at any rate, he began to sing to the plants. He began to talk to the plants. He began to get up and go, you know what? I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to really, he wakes up. All of the plants are blooming. All of them are doing big little baby plants, and they have all this stuff. He's like, oh my gosh. And so all the people began to come over and go, hey, his garden is really taking off. That magic plant really works. Guess what else? There was a little byproduct of that. People came to see his garden, and guess what? He met the girl of his dreams, and they lived happily ever after. And it attracted her because the garden was flourishing. And the truth is, you know what? What he did was he tended his garden with love. He paid attention to it. He fed it. He gave it everything that it needed. He paid attention and knew in his mind and believed that it was going to happen. And everything shifted as a result of that. Your good is innate. But when you set your good into motion, all sorts of unexpected things happen. Have you ever done that? Set the tone for the day. And everything works out. I always get the picture of Mr. Magoo. Did you ever see that commercial or that cartoon? And he's walking and he's going to fall off a building, but the I-beam comes through and then he lands on that, and then all of a sudden he lands in his car. He's driving in the street, Mr. Magoo. He had a positive attitude about stuff. It looked like everything was going to go to hell in a handbasket, but it didn't. So the thing is, you're the seed from which everything comes. Every one of us was born with this power in us. Each and every one of us use it uniquely and build on that power and take that power and make it happen for us. It doesn't happen by accident, and it happens unless what you're saying, Lainey, it only works if you work it. It only works if you work it. But things don't happen. We have to actively move in the direction of where we want to go, and that's why setting intentions is important. The key to setting intentions also happens to be the key to living your greatest life. You break free from the beliefs that are no longer serving you. And sometimes we don't even release those patterns because we don't realize them. We don't even know what's going on. But the importance is, remember, those patterns are determining the direction we're going. So feed yourself with good patterns. When we turn to Spirit, trusting and believing, our prayer is already answered. Done that? You may not know the solution. You may not know how to fix it. You may not know, I set something down and I couldn't figure out where I put it. I'm like, okay, I don't know, but God knows. And guess what? All of a sudden I found it and was like, you know what? It was on top of the refrigerator. I'm like, how did I put my phone on top of the refrigerator? I'll never know where it was. So, just like we have a GPS system in our car, and when we go the wrong way, it says recalculating, your GPS system heart. If you're not feeling joy about something, that's your signal that it's not working. So you need to come from joy. You're always coming from joy. And if it's not bringing you joy, then you have to know, uh-oh, I'm on the wrong path. So, let's recap. Setting intentions is about following that law of the divine one that says there's power. You are filled with that power, and that power is always supporting you. And the intentions, the thoughts, the energy that as an instruction to the universe will bring about the results that we want. If we're not seeing the results we want, guess what? You go back to square one. You don't look at, oh, deal with that problem. No. You deal with this problem. Go into there and say what's happening there. Always seek joy. Always seek joy. If it's not bringing joy, guess what? You're in the wrong spot. Get back into joy. Go in joy. And in order to create order and balance in your life, the parts of you that create a challenge, bless them and say, thank you, you just woke me up. That's right, I forgot to turn that light switch on in my psyche about creating a better thing. So know with me right now that God is everywhere present. Say with me, God is everywhere present.
God is everywhere present.
Making itself known, in my life, for good, and for good alone. And so it is. All right, thank you. So remember, ready to thrive in 2025. That's our slogan. And now we're going to have another beautiful song from Cecilia.